I try not to scroll too much through shorts, and I don't have TikTok, but I'm on
No.
YouTube Shorts sometimes. There was a video of a dog shelter where the dog chooses their owner. And basically you have a row of people sitting in a row, and the dog kind of walks in between the aisle, sniffs out their owner, and jumps on them.
Okay.
And I thought it was real,
Yeah.
100%. I showed it to my wife. She got very
Like, so
emotional.
cute.
Yeah, she got so emotional. I was emotional, so touching. And then I spoke to my sister about it, and she's like, that's AI, right? Honestly, I probably should have known. My name is Lior. I run a newsletter called Exploring ChatGPT. Hopefully, my audio is better than it was yesterday. I think so far, so good. And that's just not going to go too far into introducing myself here. But Daniel, if you'd like to introduce yourself, what you
Yeah.
do here on Substack.
Yeah, sure. So if you don't know me and if you're one of Leo's peeps, I'm Daniel, I write a Substack called Why Try AI. And I kind of dabble in pretty much all areas of generative AI. So I'm not limiting myself to a specific path. I got into it back in the day in late 2022, actually, prior to ChatGPT. I got into it because of stable diffusion and being fascinated by the image models. And now I kind of over time just grown to try a little bit of everything. I love this space and I love to see that the progress that you see in all the different models. So that's
Awesome.
my shtick.
So I think before we get into if you guys here so far, thank you everybody for joining again. If you guys here saw the title of the live stream, we titled it. It's about AI images and video generation. So that'll be the main topic of discussion today. But before we get into that, Daniel, I kind of want to know what's the most interesting topic to you in the AI world right now?
Right this very moment, I'm actually finally jumping a bit belatedly on the Claude Code bandwagon, maybe half a year too late. But I think once I finally tried it, I really saw the big deal behind having an agent that can actually do stuff on your always on agent that is on. That's probably the next step. But that's something I'm spending a lot of time on trying to figure out and trying to build my kind of routine with it. I don't know if you tried, Lior.
I've done a little research on AI agents. It's
Yeah.
pretty incredible to me. I'm a little scared of them after a recent conversation I had with my friend Chris from Toxic, who I do weekly live streams with
Yeah.
on Saturdays. He's a cybersecurity guy, ex
It must be
NSA,
a
like
nightmare for him, some of the stuff that's coming out.
super, super duper knowledgeable. Half the stuff he said just flew right over my head. I got to rewatch this live stream and take notes. But yeah, I'm very interested in AI agents and the way that people are using them now.
Right.
But I would say for me, really the most interesting topic right now in AI is not necessarily a specific topic or niche in AI, but just the general impact on humanity. I think we forget to just take a step to look from the outside in and realize how quickly this has been this has become part of the infrastructure
Yep.
of our lives, of technology in general. If someone were to just turn off the switch on AI right now, I don't know if we could move on. And it's only been around for such a short period of
Yep.
time.
Yeah.
Um,
If you mean if we just roll everything back to let's say 2022 days, right? Or something like that, and we just kind of lost all of that.
yeah.
Because the counterpoint to that is, I don't know if you follow Ethan Mollick, the Wharton
Mhm.
professor, he's a big kind of, I would say, AI nerd, and he's also really good at practical hands-on explanations of AI. And his whole deal was from even, I think, early to late 2023, that if you stop AI progress at that point, we would still take years to absorb the upside or the potentially disruptive impact. And so in 2026, even if you pull the plug now and you just don't roll things back, but stop any progress, it's still going to be, I don't know, decades of potential societal changes of what it can actually do and how we can incorporate it into all the
Yeah.
areas of life, right? So,
Yeah. It's just
yeah,
it's just crazy how fast we adapted to it. Same with I can almost compare it to electricity. So all of a sudden, yeah, we can't live without it. Or the internet, but just I think a much bigger impact on humanity in general.
yeah.
So to me, that's really the most interesting thing right now. Just we don't even realize what's happening. I think.
I think you're right, at least for our bubble, because we also have to keep in mind that I think you and I are probably at kind of the forefront of this because we are nerding out about it and we're writing about it. I also have people in my life, close people in my life, who, yeah, they're aware of it, but to them, AI is just this thing that annoyingly pops out in their email saying, hey, help me rewrite. And then shut up, I don't need this crap. And for them, I mean, even if they're not necessarily skeptical or anti-AI, there is also that crowd, obviously, which you can respect. But even if you're not, if you're just a mainstream audience, to you, AI is just these little weird touch points that come up when you're searching for stuff. So I don't know how much of an impact it would be for their life at this time if you suddenly pulled the plug. Maybe for them it would be minor because they didn't realize the hidden part that was lost, right? But yeah, I think you're right. I don't think it's a controversial statement anymore to make that this is going to be a huge deal over the
Yeah.
coming years and decades.
Yeah, it's crazy. For example, before we get into image and video generation, there was a recent discovery. I forget if it was GPT 5.2 or 3, but basically it just made a new discovery in theoretical physics.
Yeah, GPT
And
5.2. I think something about some formula. Yeah, in some test. Yeah,
yeah, and it's just
heard that.
as a result of emergent AI, it's this train is moving without any fuel at this point. It seems,
Yeah,
you know,
you're starting to get into that. I mean, you've heard of recursive self improvement, right? That's the holy grail of getting to a place where AI can code the next generation of AI and kind of over time not need us to improve itself. And whether you see it as a kind of Skynet event or a good thing, that's a that's a whole different philosophical debate. But we're starting to see glimpses of that, right? You're starting to see the thing you just mentioned, and you also for the 5.3 codex. OpenAI notoriously said that, oh yeah, it helped code itself to some extent,
yeah,
parts of itself. So we are starting to see glimpses of that as well.
yeah, it's truly incredible.
Yeah,
So yeah, I guess let's move into AI image and video generation
sure.
now. So that's basically the topic we're going to cover here.
Yeah,
I think before we move into what we use, how we use it, I think at the forefront of this, I'm sure a lot of people are seeing, whether they're on TikTok or YouTube Shorts or whatever it might be, there's a lot of AI generated content right now.
yeah,
And I think that in many ways, there's a lack of transparency. It's just gotten so good now that unless it's a bear riding a unicycle, a lot of the times it's hard to tell
yeah,
nowadays.
yeah,
And it's only getting better. So I think before we get into what we use and how we use it, I think transparency is really key in this conversation.
for sure.
For me, I'm very transparent in how I use AI for my Substack newsletter.
Right.
And for example, I use DALL-E every day. I love DALL-E.
And when you say DALL-E, do you mean you're in ChatGPT? Because DALL-E is quite old now. I mean, DALL-E, we're talking 2 years old, DALL-E
Yeah,
3. So because ChatGPT now has what is it, GPT Image 1, that's the newer generation, the ones that can actually spell whole pages of text instead of gibberish and do really
yeah,
precise stuff.
yeah.
Is that
That's
what you're using? Or you mean literally DALL-E, still the old school one?
so well, I have different use cases, but
Okay.
for my article specifically, I'm still using DALL-E.
All right. Is it the style, the artistic style of
It's
it?
the style, it's the
The
artistic, it's
cartoony?
the
Yeah.
abstract kind
Good.
of tone of it,
Yeah.
and I love it. So I don't see myself moving away from that, at least for my
Okay.
articles. I do use ChatGPT for YouTube thumbnails. We
Right.
can get into
Gotcha.
that as well. So, but yeah, just transparency. I started a YouTube channel maybe 2 weeks ago,
Okay.
and I noticed before you upload a video, you have to check yes or no for any AI altered content. And
I even think they do their own, at least an attempt at scanning and saying if they can detect any obvious signs. And then they ask you as well, is this for kids? Is this AI? Is this
yeah,
this?
those are the
Yeah,
big questions. And now that I'm on the other side of YouTube as a creator, I realize, wow, a lot of these AI generated videos, people are not being transparent about it. They're not checking off that box. So so yeah, what
what
do you think about transparency in this?
No, I mean, I fully agree, and I think there are also attempts made in the industry to build this in. I don't know if you heard of Google Synth ID. That's something
No.
that basically they work on into like everything that's generated with Google's models has this hidden watermark that is not visible necessarily or exposed to us, or it doesn't have to be. It can be, of course, if we want to. But AI models can be so with enough or with the right process, you can basically tell whether it's been produced with AI or not. So and I feel that probably must become a standard. I don't know. I'm not in the legal space, so I don't know if it will, but it does make sense that you want to be able to distinguish between, and it will become more and more urgent as things become less and less distinguishable, right?
Yeah.
I also see a lot of, I wouldn't call it backlash, but I would call it the movement in the opposite direction that now it's just easy to call everything AI just to be safe. You see something that you either don't like or looks dodgy, and you're like, oh, that's probably AI. It's just become this hand waving type of thing. Back in the day, you would say, oh, it's photoshopped. Now you just say, oh, it's AI, right? If you don't
Yeah.
agree
Yeah.
or whatever.
Yeah.
So we need to get to a place where we can start trying to trust things again, not trust our own eyes, but I don't know if that's salvageable, to be honest.
Yeah, it's just it's getting so good now that it's hard to
Yeah,
tell, and I think that's the it's very dangerous because especially if you're a public figure, we're here on Substack, we have a following. I wouldn't consider us necessarily a super duper public figure, but
right.
if you are, it's scary
Yeah.
because someone could just use one of these tools to upload a video of you speaking, and and that's it. And now they can have you saying anything.
Yeah. I
So
mean, voice cloning is what they need literal seconds of audio. 2,
yeah,
3 seconds of your
I can
voice
give a direct
clone.
example that I've done recently, which we'll get into. I wanna hear from you first of all. What type of image and video generators are you using right now?
Okay, so I actually just this day, just some hours before, I published an update to my 2 years ago, I did a comparison of at the time, it was 9 image to video generators, and over time, that's grown now to 20 different models. So I compared all 20 of them on a specific set of images. So I do try all of them. Right now, the ones that top tier are still Google VO 3.1. I would say Sora 2 from OpenAI is still also decent. And right now, what surprised me actually a lot, I'm not big in the Grok space, from X. Grok Imagine 1.0 is incredibly good. It's really good. And that's coming from someone I've seen the progress in AI video, and I was actually taken aback by how realistic it is.
Really?
Yeah.
I
So, and
haven't
I think right
experimented
now
with
it's
Grok.
also free to try if you just go to grok.com and imagine, like slash
Really?
imagine and create stuff. Yeah. So, but I wouldn't say I'm using them for anything practical. It's usually just these kind of tests and dabbling and trying out and just seeing what's out there. I don't have a process build something for me in a practical sense.
Mm.
It's always been kind of that with me. It's just nerding out and trying new things.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
but I would say those would be my top picks. And then of course there is the Cdance 2.0 from ByteDance. I don't know if you've heard of that.
I've heard of ByteDance. I didn't know that they had I would
Yeah, they have
yeah.
their own image and LLMs, large language models. So they've got their own suite of things. And Cdance is the latest launch. And
Nice.
most new generations of video models, they also come with native audio. So they make the dialogue and the sound effects and the music as part of the clip. And it's pretty incredible considering, and I think 2023, we had this preview from Meta. I don't know if you've seen those.
No.
Their very first attempts at, maybe it was late 2022 or very early 2023, they were starting to talk about potentially having AI make videos. And those previews are just these weird, creepy bears trying to paint stuff. And he has a human hand. And it's just this really weird, wacky, full of artifacts kind of stuff. And now we're at a place where you said, you can give a simple prompt and you get a video that many people will not know is AI. It's just,
Right.
even if you are in this space, I'm sure if you showed me some of those videos without the context, I would have to do a double take
Yeah.
to, yeah,
Yeah, absolutely. I actually I have a perfect example of this
yeah,
recently. Before I get into what I use, maybe some of you guys have seen it. Maybe Daniel, you've seen this video. I try not to scroll too much through shorts, and I don't have TikTok, but I'm on
no,
YouTube Shorts sometimes. There was a video of a dog shelter where the dog chooses their owner, and basically you have a row of people sitting in a row, and the dog kind of walks in between the aisle, sniffs out their owner, and jumps on them.
okay,
And I thought it was real,
yeah,
100%. I showed it to my wife. She got very
like so
emotional.
cute.
Yeah, she got so emotional. I was emotional, so touching. And then I spoke to my sister about it, and she's like, that's AI, right? Honestly, I probably should have known, but I didn't. It was just so good. It was so good. So it just,
I think it's also, to be fair, it's also kind of easier to get away with kind of animal videos because I think you're less skeptical when it's not a human emotion. It's also, I see a lot of that. I mean, my mom is an animal lover and she sometimes sends me stuff and I have to remind her, hey, it's AI. And I think she's even accepted that a lot of the stuff that she sees on those channels is AI, but she doesn't care because, oh, it's still a cute thing.
yeah,
She sent me a video of a cat that's eating fish and then it's presented with a sushi bill and it faints. She goes, ah,
yeah,
and I'm pretty sure she knows
right,
that it's AI, but she's like, "It's still fun, right?" Like,
right,
I don't think many people care as long as it's a feel good, funny, weird thing. Back in the day, it would be Minion memes, and now it's this, right?
right,
So,
right.
but you're
Yeah,
onto
that's the thing.
something. I mean,
It's not, to me, it's not about whether, when it's obvious, right? And when it's not. But the issue is when it's not obvious, what are the dangers in that? Where is this leading?
I
So
think the intent is probably a big part of that. I mean, are you trying to swindle people out of money or advance some political agenda or whatever, or sell something? Or is it just, hey, it's just a weird, goofy channel and I share all sorts of weird, wacky stuff?
Right.
Those are two different levels of extents of damage, you could say, and
Yeah, absolutely.
one
I
obviously
agree.
goes for a lot more
I agree.
scrutiny,
Yeah.
legal involvement. Yeah. So
Yeah. So for me, I got 5 or probably 4.
yeah,
5 because I've played around. I have to nerd out you sometimes, so I'm
yeah,
probably gonna go check out Grok after this.
yeah,
So yeah, DALL-E, which I mentioned earlier, which I think even though it may be a little bit outdated, I found that for me it's really great for my articles because I can
sure,
take, bullet points or an introduction section that I wrote and copy paste it into DALL-E. Instead of trying to come up with a prompt for the image generation, it's just automatic. It knows my style. It
right.
knows and I can, instead of sitting there and trying to come up with a perfect description for an image, I'll copy and paste an introduction section or whatever section for my article into DALL-E, and it'll give me a way better image than I could have thought of myself.
Yeah, I
So that's
think
the power.
everything you say, just so you know, everything you say right now is pretty much true for the vast majority of new modern generational models. We're
Yeah,
way past the old days where you had to try and put all sorts of qualifiers and modifiers to get an image you wanted. Now it's just enough to give it
yeah,
context and a paragraph. Hey, let's
absolutely.
summarize this in an image somehow.
Yeah,
Just-
yeah,
It's
that makes total sense. I guess because I haven't really moved away from DALL-E too much, I probably don't know that. But I think once you have that and you already have the image, then after that, if you want to add more context, you can do that. And then for in terms of ChatGPT, I use ChatGPT for images for my YouTube thumbnails, which I found to be really, really good. Just amazing. I'll just as simple as taking a screenshot from a live stream, putting it on there, and it knows what type of style of my thumbnails, and it just spits it out. It's amazing.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, it's really
And
good also at what you just called style transfer. You can say, hey, this person, but in this style, and it just like
mhm,
uses those two. Again, most models can pretty much handle
yeah,
that now.
yeah,
I'm reading a comment from Martin White here that these videos are good, but yeah, I'm not a big fan of the LLM interaction. I also am not
mhm,
a fan of Grok, the LLM models. I haven't been. It's definitely not any chatbot that I use in any
right,
capacity whatsoever. But the Imagine site lets you just prompt images and videos without any LLM interaction. It's a separate
right,
subset of it. So
yeah. Yeah. We appreciate, by the way, everybody leaving comments and stuff. Towards the end of the stream, I'll read as many as I can and we'll answer some questions. Daniel will answer as well. So there's a new tool that I've been using, 2 new tools.
okay,
Before I get into them, I will say I have played around with Gemini. I don't love it.
when you
Um,
say Gemini, which specific, just the LLM or
just the LLM.
okay,
I mean, as far as I know, I
great.
just played around with it a bit, never really used it too much.
Mm.
But there's 2 new tools that I've been using for video generation, and the number one is called Descript.
Yes,
DE script, and it's incredible. I can kind of compare it to something that I don't know a lot about, which is, for example, the cursor, which I've heard about from a probably good point to mention. I met Daniel through a collective of AI creators known as Cozora, Codora. I'll link everything in the chat a little bit later. But basically, so one of the co-founders, Joel Salinas, told me about Cursor and how like without knowing how to code, he's able to build all these apps and websites, and it's incredible. So Descript is very similar in that way, where I just put in my prompt and it generates. I can generate full AI videos, and it can also help me with editing. So when I take these streams and I push them over to YouTube, I'm able to, optimize for retention and things like that, where, like the first 30 seconds of a YouTube video are so important. If the first 30 seconds don't attract, engagement, they're
right.
gone.
Yeah.
Like basically you put in what you want. It has a little AI agent in the bottom corner and it'll build the whole thing for you. So it's truly incredible. I think Descript is maybe not a lot of people have heard of it, but if you go to Google and you type in like AI video editor, it'd probably be one of the first ones that pop up.
They actually, even before dialogue heavy podcast or whatever, what you could do, and that was quite unique at the time, is you could edit the video by just editing the transcript. So
Correct.
like you would say something and maybe you say something that's wrong and you could go in and you rewrite it or cut it and it would cut that part of the video. So you didn't have to deal with like the visual editing and the timeline. You could just like
Correct.
delete a sentence and that part of the video would be gone. And then they grew
Exactly.
into this, what you just described now, which more like AI features and
Yeah.
like
Yeah,
that.
exactly. And also back to the point about like um, you know, so I can record my voice. It'll ask me to read something that takes me 10, 15 seconds to read.
Yeah.
a paragraph. And then now it has my AI voice audio, and
Right.
it will just apply that to the whole transcript. So it's truly incredible. And then yeah, the last little tool that I use is called Opus Clips, which
Yeah.
is an AI tool that you just literally just drop your video into Opus Clips, and it'll generate clips for you, and it will rate them from 1 to 100 based on what they think will be most viral, basically. So yeah,
Can
and
I
there's yeah, so many tools
Can I
within
ask you
that as
about that?
well.
Because I actually wondered, because I know obviously you've noticed since you are doing these lives quite often, because Substack does something very similar, right? When you and I will close down this conversation, you in your inbox will get, I think, a bunch of cut clips from this chat, 4 or 5 or so. So they do something very similar to Opus Clip, just under the hood in Substack. Have you done any comparison? Hey, Substack does more interesting clips or less interesting, or is it the same, more or less?
Yeah, yeah. I've used both. When I first started with YouTube, I was uploading the Substack clips, and this was
Right.
also before I found Descript. So I was literally just uploading the stream, no edits, and it
Uh,
was not
uh,
great. I'm getting better and better every day. I think the main difference between Substack clips and Opus is Substack is just, this is what you got, go with it. I'm pretty sure you
right.
can also generate clips on your own in Substack if
Yeah,
you wanted to.
you can re-roll, I
Um,
think, by re-uploading
yeah,
it as well. Yeah.
yeah. I still have, I feel like the more you do something, the better you get at it. You just have to jump in the water. Don't dip
For
your
sure.
toe, just jump in and hopefully you can swim. And there's so much within Opus Clips that I've yet to unlock. But I found that at the very least, the fact that it rates the videos.
Uh,
So this is your number one clip, right?
Gives you a temperature check a little bit.
It
Yeah.
gives you a temperature check, and this is 99 out of 100,
Oh,
right? So Substack doesn't do that, obviously. And there's so much more within Opus Clips as well that I've yet to really dive into, which
right.
I will. But yeah, basically that's what I got. I got DALL-E, ChatGPT, Descript, and Opus Clips. And
And it sounds all of it comes down to revolving around your Substack, right? Because it's these lives, and then you put those lives, as I understood it, you basically put those on YouTube, but you used Descript and DALL-E to make the thumbnails and the. Oh no, you said GPT you're using for the thumbnails. Yeah.
correct, yeah. So basically, I will say it's YouTube is mostly now Substack related because I'm posting the streams and the clips, but also in between that time, because I'm trying to stay consistent on there as well,
Okay.
I'm using Descript to generate AI generated videos, which
Okay.
is completely AI
And what are
generated.
the topics? Is it a narrative or is it a mock interview or what kind of stuff?
So interestingly enough, when on YouTube, once you start posting on there, it'll show you YouTube trends, and there's a tab for that they call inspiration.
Okay.
And so, for example, today I went into that tab and it said your audience might something about quantum computing.
Sure.
Now, although I do have a degree in physics, I haven't used it in a decade, so I don't remember anything about quantum mechanics except for the side that I barely passed the class. So yeah, so basically I can take that inspiration tab from YouTube
Right.
and it'll give me a full outline. The name of the game is automation at the end of the day, because everybody has so much going on in their lives. They have a day job, a business, a family, and if you want to be able to do more, then you have to learn how to automate.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
I mean, my take on this is obviously that I would be hesitant to outsource too much because then you're also risking veering into slop territory. And I mean, that's the big danger of just, hey, put everything on autopilot and let AI generate whatever crap it can. And there is already enough of that going on. And I think I would be, do I want to contribute to that or do I still want to be in the loop? And my take has been so far, I am very much in the loop of everything that I end up putting out because I want to be able to say, hey, there is this, my voice in it, my personality in it, and my at
yeah,
least taste and curation in it. So
absolutely.
eh,
I
I'm
agree
sure
with
there
you
are,
100%.
yeah, I'm sure if
Uh,
you are just in it for growth and channels and money making,
no,
you
yeah,
could just automate the process and step away.
I agree with you 100%.
Yeah,
I think
yeah,
you still need to be in the loop.
yeah,
I think that you still need to curate it. If I wanted to just go full automate mode, then we'd probably go back to the conversation about AI agents,
yeah.
right? But I'm still in the loop. And if it's not a topic that interests me, I won't touch it. So at the end of the day, it really starts with your own personal interests, I think. And
Because what I've noticed you do, at least very briefly looking at, is you have these conversations with ChatGPT occasionally, and you post them as is. And obviously, that you're not trying to pretend that this is something that you came up with. This is an exploration. I'm exploring together with ChatGPT, and in this case, I'm exploring together with this tool, right? Is that kind of the take?
that's basically the take. So yeah, For those of you that don't know my newsletter, I do post daily. I've been doing so ever since February 2025. And without the help of AI, I wouldn't be able to do it. But I'm also very transparent about how I use AI. So I can just briefly touch on that for those that haven't heard this side of it from me before. Basically, my day to day, there's two different paths. There's the path of I come up with ideas, and there's the path of I had a busy day and I didn't come up with any ideas. Now, the beauty in that is ChatGPT knows a lot about me and knows a lot about my personal interests. So before I go and basically publish an article, that idea has to basically align with my own personal interests. And sometimes I'll combine multiple ideas. But then there are days where I do come up with ideas as well. For example, my article today, which is about what we spoke about earlier, what I said, the most interesting topic to me in AI right now is how we've adapted to it and how it's become the new normal.
Yeah.
That's the name of the article. It's the new normal. So basically that's kind of the route that I'm going down. And also there's definitely something to be said about consistency in general on social media. The more consistent you are, I agree there's a lot of AI slop out there, 100%, with people that are just fully automating, not in the loop at all, no editing, no references, no citation, and they don't care that AI can make mistakes. So basically, I, I think that it's similar to. I'm trying to do what I'm doing on YouTube similarly to what I built on Substack, which is eventually something's going to hit, and that's the plan basically for
Yeah.
2026. Seeing where that goes. So yeah, I know you mentioned the types of image and video generators that you use. So do you have any use cases for them? Or are you just nerding out with them and just having fun with it?
Yeah. So the quick answer is yeah, that mostly it's nerding out and trying and testing and then sharing it with the audience. 'Cause that's kind of my that's always been my take from day one. Kind of here are the different things you can do. Here's how they compare. But there are also minor use cases. The images, featured images for the posts, I usually use AI for that, and I do it very much in the way that you just described. Here's my article. Here's the take. What would be a good? I kind of have a back and forth conversation, whether it's ChatGPT or someone saying what would be a good featured image for it, and then it would give me a menu of options. Of okay, let's try this one, and then it generates it, and we go back and forth. And, okay, that's the one. And for a long time, for 500 days in a row, and I know this because I ended at number 500, I had a side project called AI Jest Daily. And the point was that it's a daily cartoon where AI would take the front seat, kind of. But I was also upfront about it. Here it's me generating it with actually DALL-E 3 at the time. I would make a cartoon, or either I would start with an idea and then try to make it into a cartoon or mini comic with a speech bubble. And later I would try to see if I can let AI take the lead, but it never quite worked. I felt like I was just always involved in the curation and the test. And for a while, that's basically what I used the image generation for, creating these cartoons. And it's still alive. It's still live. I can probably find it. I haven't touched it for over, I want to say over a 1.5 years now or so.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see the last one was in October 2024.
Yeah.
So that sounds about right. I
Yeah.
can paste it here. Hold up. If
Sure.
anybody's interested, but this is actually ancient now because again, it was DALL-E 3 at the time that I ended on, and now the newest image generation is leaps and bounds above that old school stuff now.
Right. Right.
But that most of the stuff I do, I would say, doesn't have any true practical. My first question with AI is not, hey, I'm going to 10x my productivity, or you're falling behind if you're not doing this thing, and I'm going to boost myself. And it becomes, I'm just fascinated by this stuff. And I'm just, okay, what can I try? There's this thing, there's that thing. So I am a dabbler, as I started saying. I'm trying a lot of stuff, but not a lot of it ends up becoming a routine where I become a power user. You have a lot of them on Substack, and some of them are also in the Kazora. I'm a little bit everywhere, so I can probably competently tell you about the breadth of stuff. But if you want to go deeper into any one of those routines, you probably have better people who are really nerding out on specifically how to get Claude Code running and how to optimize your life with it, or
Yeah.
what might not be.
Yeah.
So I guess that answers your question to
No,
that
absolutely.
extent.
I will say I feel fascination is the first step towards
Yeah.
integration. So if you're not interested, then what are you doing?
Right.
If you're not interested in anything, I don't care if you play the piano or you play the drums or whatever it might be. If you're not interested, you're not going to keep going with it. So
Yeah.
there's nothing wrong with nerding out and just having fun with it because
Yeah.
that's where the magic happens. So yeah, I can give an example for myself, again, in reference to my live stream with Toxic about cybersecurity. And he gives a lot of examples of how to get around certain guardrails with AI. Let me try this. I'm probably not going to win.
Yeah.
OpenAI is probably going to, block me out of whatever answers I'm trying to get. But he mentioned to me, for example, you can ask it to respond to you in poetry form, or you can use poetry form to get certain answers, or different languages, or a combination of all these things
Yeah.
together. And so that's just my example of nerding out. So I'm, hey,
Yeah, for sure.
from now on, answer my questions in ancient Aramaic in
Or
poetry
whatever it
form.
might be. Yeah, yeah.
And just first of all, just seeing that text getting written out, which looks like an alien language, it's incredible.
But I
And
must
how
say, there is
fast,
also
yeah,
something to be said about seeing an answer in through a different prism that also sparks something in your head. Instead of just a generic answer, package it into this voice or this tone or this narration, or you said, or a limerick or haiku, I don't know, whatever. Hearing the same information in those different ways sometimes unlocks something. So it could be a fun thing to do, but it could also be a pathway out of writer's block or thinker's block, if you want to call it that, as well. So that's kind of cool that you also allow yourself to do that.
absolutely. And I'll post it. I don't care.
Right.
What's the worst that's going to happen? I'm going to embarrass myself.
Right.
You
Is
know,
that actually has that been your approach from day one? You're, okay, I'm exploring this and I'm kind of exploring it in public. Some people are building in public intentionally. I'm just exploring it and I'm sharing it with you. Is that so?
yeah,
That's the aim.
absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. So I'll give a brief background. So technically, I started my Substack in 2023,
Okay.
and then I just left it. I didn't get, and then I came back in February 2025, and I said I'm doing this every day.
Okay.
And then one of my family members came over to me and saw it, and he's, "Oh, this is cool. What are you doing?" I'm just anything really. Initially, my newsletter, my profile description was anything and everything. So I had no niche. Had absolutely no niche. And he's, "Well, at least have a niche. What are you interested in?" I'm like, "Well,
Yeah.
I guess I'm kind of interested in AI in general, and also probably technology, science, physics." He said, "Well, just do that." And that was great advice. So basically, yeah, that's from the jump of basically February 2025. I decided this is at least a niche, and now I can explore this niche and do it publicly. And for days that I can't come up with great ideas, I'll post my conversations
Right.
and sandwich them between an introduction and a reflection, and basically just call it a day.
We're coming
So
up on the anniversary actually of your 1 year anniversary of you coming back, right? You said February 2025.
yeah, yeah,
So
yeah,
it's
yeah,
just
yeah.
about
We're
now.
here. We're here.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Awesome.
how about we go through some of these live chats
Yeah, sure. I saw
and
that someone's asking about Sora. That looks the right link. I mean, you don't even need the slash explore slash videos. It's just either Sora.com, which will redirect you to soragpt.com. That's where you
yeah,
make the videos. But the
yeah,
caveat there is I still think it's not rolled out to all countries. It's actually technically not in Denmark where I'm based, but you can circumvent it with a VPN,
right,
as is the case for many things that are not accessible here in Europe.
right.
I have to use VPN as part of being a person who needs to be trying different AI things. So yeah,
That makes sense.
sora.chatgpt.com is where you can try to make the images and videos
Awesome.
from OpenAI.
So yeah, before I go through these chats, I'm just gonna post here in a message. That's the YouTube channel if anybody wants to check it out. And yeah, so basically, let's go through these chats. Let's see. Okay, Marcial Hernandez. Actually, I had him on a live stream recently.
Cool.
Part of my where I go live with viewers sometimes, and I bring the viewers into the
Nice.
conversation.
It's a good idea.
He said, "At times, I feel this is all fantasy. In every traditional industry, we all talk about AI, but nothing is being implemented, and the business in the industry continues running." That's an interesting take. It does feel fantasy. I feel, especially when my whole idea of this being the new normal, I was just laying in bed and these thoughts were racing through my head, and I just opened my phone and I start writing in my notes, and I'm like, it's the reality is just unbelievable right now.
Uh,
I think that I do agree with Marcial that a lot of businesses aren't implementing AI, and that's probably not a good idea. What do you think, Daniel?
I think my take on it is that I think one of the big reasons that's happening is that the disconnect between the possibilities and you seeing how you can apply it is just too great. It's a classic either analysis paralysis or the paradox of choice. If I'm presented with two types of ketchup, I can be like, okay, I'll go with the one with the spicy one. If I'm presented with 80 types of ketchup. I'm going to be standing at that aisle for the next 10 hours, right? Trying to decide which one. And AI is that. There's just so much you can potentially do. Even me, who's, again, I'm on top of this stuff. I write a weekly roundup of news every week, and I would not begin to be able to absorb all of it and actually incorporate it in my life in any meaningful way. I would have to limit myself. So I think that's also what happens, that because there is this buffet of options, nobody comes and points you and says, for your business, you need this specific thing, and that's what's actually going to help you. So at least that's what I've seen so far in my experience. And the way out of it is really to just, instead of thinking outside in, is to think, what do I actually need to solve? Because a lot of these things are kind of solutions that are looking for problems. We say, oh, everybody's doing OpenClaw. I've got to get a Mac and also have this agent that sits there. Okay, but why the hell do you need an agent? What are you actually going to do with it? What are you going to give that all powerful agent? And instead, maybe, okay, I have this bottleneck in my day job. It might be tiny. I just need to do this thing. Can AI solve it? I don't know. Go check. Go to ChatGPT and tell it, I need to solve this thing, and see what it comes back with. Go to Claude Code if that's what you're running, or Claude Cowork or whatever it is. Or if you're with Cursor, can I code something? Can you build me an app that solves this one small thing, and I cannot find an off-the-shelf tool that does this? It's it should be more needs driven rather than, all right, let's just build AI into everything kind of. So I don't know if I'm rambling now, but I think that's kind of
No,
where we're at.
no,
Uh,
I think that's a great point.
because otherwise you're going to be stuck in overwhelm forever. You just find something that you actually need solving and then start there. That's your pathway in, and then from there it can explode into, okay, now I'm going to be a power user of this specific aspect of AI, right?
Yeah,
Oh,
absolutely. I think I can give a specific example. So in my day job, and I won't get into the specifics of what the company itself does or anything like that, but I used AI to just do something in 30 seconds that would have taken me a few hours. And it's just as simple as going into ChatGPT and basically copy pasting a document of the company's expenses
mm,
and saying, how can I optimize this? Where are we
right,
spending too much? And within 30 seconds, our monthly office expenses were cut drastically.
right.
And then I just had it make me a spreadsheet with links to buy similar products at better prices. So basically, just something as simple as that, really, that I think would apply to so many people.
I think that's a good point. I mean, just anything that takes away busy work, I think to me is also a big win factor. I think the original feeling was like, oh, it can write a whole blog and an essay for me. And then we found out that yes, it can, but it's not going to be something that you will be particularly happy to read potentially, because it's going to, and at some point you kind of get used to the cadence and all it. But if it can actually take away some of the monotonous kind of copy paste type of work or something that saves you time, I think that's actually a more interesting win to me in many cases, a business context at least.
Absolutely. So we'll keep going in the chats here. We got Chris Antonelli in the chat, also from a Going Live with Viewers, and
Cool.
I'm probably going to be doing another one with him. He's a director at Microsoft, very intelligent guy, and I learned a lot from him. I see he left a few messages. We'll get into that. First pick says, hi guys, thanks for the invite. Just want to ask if you don't mind. This is about the
Yeah,
link for
that's the one I
Sora.
tackled. The other one was Sora.
Yeah. So Daniel answered that question. Chris said, this is my third new normal. So I'm assuming was the first one electricity or the internet? That's not a
As he
dig on
mentioned,
you.
sorry.
That's not me saying that Chris is old. Um, yeah. Gregory says very engaging content. Love it. I really
Thanks.
appreciate it. Um, Daniel linked his Substack in there. Everybody go subscribe to Daniel Ness. All right.
Yeah, and the Substack I linked there, that's actually the defunct AI Just Daily. That's the one where I basically posted those cartoons that were made in
Oh, okay,
collaboration with
cool.
AI. It's just a curiosity project.
Oh,
Yeah.
so you have like a whole separate Substack for that.
Yeah. I mean, that one is dead
Cool.
now. I haven't updated it for like 2 years. My actual, if
Oh,
you want, I can drop that in the link. I
yeah,
mean,
drop that in
it's
there.
already showing up, but I might as well drop it in the chat as well. That's my
Yeah,
active Why Try AI Substack. Now I
absolutely.
did it here. Uh, yeah.
Yeah. And then Chris says, in quotation marks, nerding out is where the magic happens. Yeah,
I think you're spot on there,
100%.
Chris. Like, I wouldn't be doing this still if I didn't find all of this like still fascinating and magical. I would probably burn out long ago.
Yeah.
Um,
And then Caro from Product with Attitude says, I'm in Denmark too.
cool, Kara. I
Cool.
mean, feel free to like ping me on Substack. I'm always happy to like even literally meet up in person with people, because not there's still not many people who nerd out with me, and I've had the
Yeah,
chance to meet a few people from Substack live here in Denmark, so could be fun.
that's cool. Is Caro also part of Kazora? Seems familiar
I
name.
am not sure. Maybe.
Okay. Let's
Yeah. Feel free
see.
to get in touch, Carol.
Yeah, definitely. Same here. Joaquin says, "You are so right. Businesses will be left behind." Yeah, it's just a matter of you're not asking the right questions. That's my opinion. You
I
don't have
might
to.
have a slightly controversial take here. I don't know if I'm not
Sure.
controversial. I mean, I'm not that edgy, but like it might be a bit contrarian because I actually don't feel like, I mean, there is a lot of that anxiety inducing, like, yeah, if you're not doing this now, you're going to fall behind and you will never catch up. And, you're 99% are doing this stuff wrong. And it might be true in the moment, but I actually think it's okay. Don't think it's going to be that late because these products are maturing and the things that are hacky and require a lot of learning curve now, they will be packaged into something more friendly. Like if you skip the abacus and you skip the calculator and you enter the accounting era when the Excel exists, it's not too late. It's okay. You can start using Excel without having seen it before. And in some cases, things have actually gotten easier with like image and include things that you don't want in your image. You had to like be very specific. Now you can just say, draw me a cat that's sitting on top of a whatever bear, and it will just do it. And you didn't
Right.
have to suffer through those early days. So maybe in some cases it's okay to not jump headfirst into the next shiny thing. So
Yeah. I mean,
that's
that's a good point. I will add to that and just say that I actually agree with you. Um, it's just eventually you'll be left behind. Like, this stuff is
yeah, I
moving
mean,
so
you'll
fast.
have to embrace it at some point. You can't
Yeah,
just keep being like, I will never touch AI. At some point, it will
yeah,
come to your life, and then
yeah,
you'll have to reckon with it. That's
yeah.
probably
At some point, you have to switch from candles and fire to
yeah,
the
yeah,
light switch, you know?
yeah, for sure, for sure.
Um, See, Martin White says, "Sometimes I ask GPT to double check my ideas so it doesn't, uh, just act like a yes man." Yeah, it's like
Amazing. I think that's one of the
yeah,
first things I ask any AI models. Like, don't be sycophantic. I don't need you to tell me that everything is great. What a great guy I am. Freaking challenge me. Ask questions if you actually don't know. Don't like. Let's not move on until we've actually like nailed this. So great
absolutely.
concept, Martin.
Yeah,
Keep
yeah,
going there.
yeah. I feel like especially with GPT, I use it so much, it could be very agreeable.
Yeah.
And if you don't want it to, you can definitely just ask it not to be. You could
I
ask
mean,
it
it
to
can be a
cut the
custom
fluff.
instruction telling you, hey, dude, don't just agree with everything. Actually, be critical.
Yeah, yeah.
These
Give me
details.
both sides of the argument. Give me multiple sides of an
Sure.
argument. Yeah, it's that's a really good point. Thank you, Martin. Um, Will Tice has a little off topic unless AI can be used to create a solution. I saw an article that says your smart TV takes over 100 screenshots an hour of you while you're watching TV. Why am I not surprised? I mean, yeah, I
Yeah,
guess
that's
whatever
content
you.
nobody's gonna want to watch. Just 100 screenshots of me watching Netflix and getting bored or whatever.
Yeah, yeah. They probably want to see when you're on your phone. That way they can switch over to your phone and start taking.
Right. Are you still
Yeah.
watching? Damn it.
But yeah, as usual, Will Tie, everything that you see on the internet is true. So definitely, your smart TV is definitely taking 100 screenshots. And then Chris says internet and then on-prem to cloud. Um, I don't know what on-prem to cloud means. Do you know what that means, Daniel?
I do not know.
Okay. Well, sorry, Chris.
Maybe Chris can clarify. Yeah.
Yeah. Carl says no time for Kazora, unfortunately. Yeah, it's all right. I get it. And then Chris says, shameless plug for the article I posted today about the fear mongering about AI. People just need to start learning and nerding out. I like that. You should, if you haven't named the article, you should name it learning and nerding out. That's a good name.
But I
Um,
think also like I think it's okay that some people. I mean, I don't think you can force people to see the light. Kind of, you can't be like, "Hey, you have to do this." Like, because I think there is also a natural kind of like pushback if something. I think again, I would recommend it being needs driven. If you have someone in your life, I'm not the first to say it. I think Alberto Romero wrote a whole article about it not so long ago. But like, if you have someone in your life who's kind of on the fence about AI, the best path you can do is like, hey, you have this issue. Can we sit down and try to solve it and see if AI can help us? Let's do this together. Let's figure it out. Let's nerd out about it. I think that's much better than just in the abstract telling them that AI is coming and you need to do it. It's much easier to relate to things when they're anchored to your own problem or your own life. So that's,
yeah,
I think, what I would recommend people who have someone in their life who just want to get to cross the bridge with them, kind of.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I think we could wrap it up here, Daniel. Obviously we're in two different places in the world. Daniel's in Denmark. I'm in New York.
Right.
There's about a 5, 6 hour time difference, whatever it might be. So yeah, Daniel, I wish you a good night.
Thanks,
To
man.
everybody else here, wherever you are in the world, have a good day, have a good evening, have a good morning. Um, and again, thank you all for being here. and subscribe to Daniel Nest. Um, and you can probably just unsubscribe to me. I'm not that important.
Don't do that.
I'm not an expert, and I can't give you financial advice. And that'll be it. Thank you guys. Have a good
Take
day.
care, man.
Thanks,
Thanks
Daniel.
thanks for the
Really
chat.
appreciate it. Bye.